Government be funding wine on your dime? Republican Senator Tom Coburn wants to know why the USDA just slashed assistance to 600,000 hungry women and children, but is still pumping thousands of dollars into wineries and liquor. Jonathan, our priorities seem pretty out of whack on this one.
Well, Eric, if you want to subsidize wine, you should drink it, which I do. If you're against cronyism, you have to be against all subsidies for booze, for green energy, for film production, and actually for women, children, and infants, too. I mean, I disagree with you, Eric, that this is a question of priority. In fact, I think Coburn's being quite inconsistent here. He should be against all subsidies. If people want to help any industry or any individual, they should help them. Government is not a charity.
Well, that would be the extreme. Colonel West, what about it? So the Democrats blame sequester, and they talked about cutting this, cutting that. They ended up cutting assistance. Meanwhile, we're spending money on wineries.
Well, that's the whole point. You can try to raise the level of pain, and I think that's what you see happening here. But it is about priorities. And in the military, we understood our task and our purpose and our priorities. And it just calls into question, what really is the mission of the United States Department of Agriculture, and what are they really doing? We just saw the Farm Bill get voted down up there in the House of Representatives because this Farm Bill, quote unquote, has now become 80%, supplemental nutrition assistance program. But yet we still have this type of spending. So the social safety net is out there for a purpose, but we don't want to become a hammock and people become overly dependent upon it.
All right, Wayne, break this tie. Is John drunk, or is he right when he says cut all subsidies?
I think Jonathan can be both drunk and right at the same time. So I'm all for that.
I said one glass.
I like it best when he's drunk, though. In any case, it goes back to what I previously said. This is another case of an agency, the Department of Agriculture, totally out of control. In other words, a lot of this is unnecessary. You could cut all of these agencies in half and still be way ahead of the game. They're spending money where they shouldn't be. They're taking taxpayer money, and because they have the privilege of doing it and spending it where they shouldn't, there should be rules about this, and the only way to control them is to cut them in half or cut them back totally and say you can't do that anymore.
All right, Julie, you know what they say? They're spending like drunken soldiers, but that's sailors. That's an insult to drunken sailors.
Oh, I think it's Jonathan obviously must be, I don't know what's in that wine, because, I mean, right, Jonathan, we should just allow these poor kids to be out on the street in the gutter, and the government shouldn't be helping them when they're starving out there. I mean, come on, give me a break. This is, the extreme,
what a monster I am.
Well, I have to say, the extreme to which you go, what are you going to do with these kids? Who's going to exactly pay for them to get food if you don't want to give them nutritional supplements?
Well, here, we're getting off track
Their
a little
parents.
bit. Hold on, guys. I'm going to give Colonel West the last word on this. It's not about whether or not we should have social services. It's about whether or not we should cut social services, meanwhile spend money on things like wineries.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It's about the priorities that are there. But then also you look at some of these programs we have, the SNAP programs and others, the electronic benefit transfer cards. There is no means testing. There is no, look, we have a government that was using taxpayer dollars to solicit people to go on these programs.
We're going to have to leave it there. We're going to say thank you to Julie Rodzinski and Colonel Alan West for joining us this week.
Thanks for having me.
The White House tour is still canceled. We have a simple and easy way we can bring them back. I hope the president's listening before he heads on his next trip.
I turned 65 last week.